Well, obviously, some people can be put off by the idea of staying alone in a place where something like that actually happened.
Well, you can rest assured, Mr. Ullman, that's not going to happen with me.
Hey, hello. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. And as you can see from the title, today we're talking about The Shining. And in particular, we're going to look at a very peculiar detail, and that is this. During that interview that Jack has at the Overlook in the beginning of the film with Mr. Ullman, it seems that the cigarette we see sitting on Ullman's desk will rather mysteriously disappear and then reappear. And it may hint at a deeper meaning in the conversation that we hear in this scene. Also, there may be a few other magic cigarettes, quote unquote, in this film. So let's take a look. Well, actually, the first cigarette we see in this film belongs to Wendy, as we see her having lunch with Danny back at their apartment, and this is before they get to the Overlook. Also, notice that the book Wendy is reading is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, a book that explores the theme of alienation, among other things. And immediately after this, Wendy brings up that they will be moving to the Overlook Hotel. And we even get Danny's imaginary friend, Tony, saying that he doesn't want to go there. And then we have to join one of our main characters, Jack Torrance, as he arrives at the Overlook Hotel for an interview with Mr. Ullman about a winter caretaker's job. After Jack comes in and meets Ullman, they are joined by a third man, Bill. As we start the interview, I want you to notice this ashtray here, which right now doesn't seem to have any smoke coming out of it. So apparently, the cigarettes in it were already put out. Jack says a few words about being a writer and also that he was a teacher. As Ullman explains some details of the job to Jack, also notice there doesn't seem to be any smoke coming up from this second ashtray. But right after that, we can see, wait a minute, where are the cigarettes that were in this ashtray? Before, there were several cigarettes in this ashtray, but now they are gone. And it's just as Ullman is starting to talk about the strains of isolation during winter up here. And after Jack says he's looking forward to 5 months of peace to start his new writing project, we cut to Ullman asking about Jack's wife and son. And what do we have here? The cigarettes are now back in the ashtray. It seems like we have some magic cigarettes in this office. The mood seems to change as Ullman starts to talk about a previous tragedy that occurred at the Overlook. And notice that some of the cigarettes are gone again. Ullman then tells Jack the story of the previous caretaker, Grady, who killed his family with an axe. After telling Jack this story, of course, the cigarettes are now back in the ashtray. Are we to infer that a ghostly presence is smoking one of these cigarettes? It's just a thought, since the cigarette seems to jump in and out of this scene, there 1 minute, gone the next. After a doctor comes over to check on Danny, we get a conversation with Wendy talking about Danny's Shining episode, which the doctor likens to self hypnosis, an odd thing to say since Danny is so young. We then see Wendy lighting up a cigarette as the conversation turns to Danny's imaginary friend Tony, who apparently made his first appearance when Danny started nursery school. Also, notice as Wendy starts talking about Danny's accident that the ashes on her cigarette have gotten quite long. A magic cigarette indeed. In fact, at one point, you could even buy this replica of Wendy's cigarette, though I'm not sure if it's still available. And I also noticed some online sources claim Wendy is smoking a Marlboro here. But look at that pack. It's not Marlboro. I found an old 1970s ad, and indeed, that pack design is from Virginia Slims cigarettes, marketed mostly to women. Now, after the family drives up to the Overlook and gets settled in, we see Danny in the games room, playing a game of darts by himself. But then our ghostly set of twins make an appearance. Notice there are several ashtrays in here as well. But another creepy detail is these chairs actually move. See? Watch here. The chair slides in just a bit. In case you couldn't tell, there are definitely ghosts in this hotel. Oddly, even the Overlook Hotel looks like it's smoking in this shot, where we actually see smoke coming out of the chimney. Though oddly, we never see a fireplace lit in this place. So, where is the smoke coming from? Because Danny rolls right by this fireplace a minute later, and there's no fire lit in it. That's just an odd detail I never noticed before. Immediately after this, we see Jack's typewriter with a lit cigarette right next to it, a Marlboro Red, which is already odd because we haven't seen Jack smoke at all. And Marlboro Red isn't the brand Wendy smokes, so it isn't hers. We see Jack throwing the tennis ball in this scene, though he's supposed to be doing some writing, but it doesn't seem like much has been done. And notice the native artwork on the wall that may show twins. Also, this fireplace isn't lit either. Another odd scene is where we see Jack typing in the evening, and Wendy comes by to talk to him. I've mentioned before to notice this chair behind Jack here, because after Wendy tells Jack it's going to snow that night, the chair disappears. And after Jack gets a bit annoyed at Wendy, we see that the chair reappears. But after Wendy leaves, look at what seems to be missing. There's no ashtray and no pack of Marlboro Reds here anymore. Also, look at the dark gray color of the typewriter, because earlier this typewriter was light gray, and there was a lit cigarette in an ashtray here. And I'll say it again, we don't see Jack smoke in The Shining. So, whose cigarette is this? When we see that the Overlook is completely snowed in, I don't really notice any smoke in the chimney, though we do finally see a roaring fire in the fireplace. But oddly, we don't see anyone lighting it, tending it, or discussing it. And this is just when Wendy discovers that their phone lines are down. Also, notice Wendy is smoking a cigarette here as well, and again in Ullman's office as she uses the radio to contact the Forest Service guys. But this scene is especially bizarre since we can actually see it's snowing from the window. But of course, that window in Ullman's office should look out on this hallway, not on the snow outside. It's like the Overlook Hotel itself is coming alive in strange ways here. So, let's sum up. Today I pointed out some of the odd scenes involving cigarettes in The Shining. From the interview in Ullman's office, where we see an ashtray on Mr. Ullman's desk with some cigarettes in it. But just as Ullman starts to talk about the strains of isolation of being at the Overlook in the winter, the cigarettes we saw are gone. And as Ullman discusses the tragedy of Grady killing his family with an axe, the cigarettes reappear in the ashtray. Even more odd is this cigarette near a pack of Marlboro Reds that we see. Jack is in here doing his writing, supposedly, but we never see Jack smoke at all, not once. So, who's smoking this cigarette? And of course, that ashtray also disappears later. I mean, even the Overlook Hotel itself appears to be, well, smoking out of its chimney. And yet, when we went inside immediately after, the fireplace was not lit. So, fire seems to symbolize, I think, that the Overlook Hotel is alive in a sense. You could say it even bleeds. And for me, the mysterious magical cigarettes really symbolize the ghostly presences that are in this hotel. Perhaps that's just another way that our ghosts make their presence felt. Well, that's my new video about some of the strange cigarettes in The Shining. I hope you liked it. I'm working on something special for next week, and I hope to have that up soon. And a huge thank you to my awesome comment section. I really enjoy reading what you have to say. And I do have an Instagram if you want to follow me over there. My name is Shimmering Path, and I'll leave a link in the description box below. Also, it would help my channel if you subscribed and also liked the video. But either way, my name is Shim. Thank you for spending time with me, and have a great day.